Maryanne with Courageous Communication. As you know, I work with nonprofit leaders to grow their influence so they can ask for and receive what they want and need. And by asking for and receiving what you want and need, you can raise the funds that you want, easily create a community of support around your work, and know that you can thrive in any circumstance, no matter what the world throws at you. I am excited to talk to you today because this is something I really want to go into because it's been happening to me a lot. And when it comes up a lot, I know I was meant to talk about it. Like the universe will signal what my topics are. It will tell me. Sometimes that's to slap me on the forehead, but it's going to tell me. And today I want to talk about what I want you to stop doing and what I want you to do in place. I invite you to consider doing this in place. So what I want you to stop doing is pitching sponsors and donors about your events, sending them that list of like, hey, you should sponsor this event. Here's all our different levels. Here how much it costs. Here's what you're going to get for it. Are you interested? If so, let me know. We can set up a time to talk. 100% these are easy to ignore. 100%. I mean, like, I don't know what, like when I get these things and I get them quite a bit, I'm like, I don't, I don't, probably not. It's easy for me to ignore that because you're pitching me. And when I say pitching, what I mean is you're just throwing something at me and hoping it sticks and making sure, like, and not without really knowing what my needs are, what my goals are, what anything that I want for my business is. But you've done enough research to think I might be a good candidate for this, but haven't really connected with me about it. This approach is not working, and I think it may be causing you frustration because then you'll follow up with that person. They'll say, oh, send it to me again. I missed it the first time. They didn't miss it the first time. They're just trying to push you off. And then you send it to them again, and then you call them and you call them. I don't understand why they're not calling me back, because they could just say yes or no and let me know. Their non-response is a no, right? Like I always tell people yes or no because I don't want to put that misunderstanding out there. I want to be clear. And also the thing I don't do though is go back and say, "Hey, I'd love to help you with a better way of doing it." So I'm doing it through this podcast. I might actually, I'm thinking about maybe next time I would say, "Listen, I hear what you're trying to do. I would love to jump on a call with you and show you maybe how to do it a little bit better." That's okay. I don't know. I'm going to think about that. So, but, or I can point them to this podcast episode. Stop pitching. Stop it with the list. Stop it with all the outcomes, blah, 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 all your sponsorships. Oh, here's our bronze, silver, gold, blah, 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 platinum, titanium. You can have all of this. I don't know what that means to me. When you pitch, what you're doing is putting the burden on the person who's receiving the pitch to understand how that works in their life. So let's say you have this list. Here's all the ways you can get involved in our organization. Look it over. Let me know which one, lights you up or gets you excited, float your boat. And the person just doesn't like, I'm not sure. I am putting the burden on the corporation or sponsor or donor or whoever to figure out what works for them. And really that's my job. My job is and your job, right? Is to meet their need. They will be interested if what you have meets a need of theirs. They will be interested. The problem is you're not helping them make that assessment. You're leaving all the decision making up to them. Hey, you want to do this? Blah, blah, blah. Now, personally for me, and this is just for me, I don't love sponsorships. It doesn't do a lot for me. Now, I know other people, it does a lot for their business model, and I love that for them. But I just know what makes my business work, and sponsorships isn't it. And also, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't get involved in your conference or your event. It's just, I need to figure out how it could work for me. But that's what I want you to do when you're approaching people, is to take the time to talk with them, assess their needs, and then find something that works for them or create something to work for them based on their specific needs. Does this seem long? Maybe. And also, it's a lot easier than what you're doing, which is just pitching and giving all your power away. Let me know. Just let me know. Let me know if you want to talk about it further. You throw all this out and you give all your power away. I want you to pull that power back into you. You have something of value to offer. They might have something of value as well. Let's see if it works. So we're going to put those papers away. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to have something that's called a connection conversation. A connection conversation means you're just going to connect with someone. They aren't ready to hear about your event. They're not ready for that. You're asking them to marry you on a, like without even meeting you. Like, hey, sponsor this event. We don't really know each other. You don't really know me or my business, but hey, I think, sponsor this event. If somebody would reach out to me and say, Maryanne, we're planning this conference. We know your audience is nonprofit leaders. We know nonprofit leaders are coming to this conference. What could we do to support each other's work? How could we support your business? How could you support our conference? What could we do to make both of us shine? I am in for that conversation, right? People don't ask me that though. They send me over this list and here's all this great stuff. And it's usually like very detailed and a lot of information. And I go, I just delete. I say, no, thanks. I'm not into sponsorships because I don't have the time to sit there and assess it. But if somebody would connect with me like that, really learn about me and my business, if you would do that, if you would connect with people, really learn about who they are, their business, what their goals are, and what could you create for them or what do you have for them that would really meet a need. That's called an offer. A pitch is when I just throw something out there. Hey, anybody want to do this? An offer is I've listened to your needs. I've validated your needs with you, and I have something that I think might meet those needs. So let's role play an example. Let's say that your organization wants to find sponsors for an event. And let's say you have a housing charity, and that housing charity wants to find sponsors for an event. And because you are in housing, you know all the construction people and the housing people. Well, and the housing people, they want to know more construction people and housing people, right? They want to connect more with their business. So it would be great. And so you ask them for a connection conversation. And the connection conversation invitation goes exactly like this. I would love to get together and have a quick call or Zoom chat and to how we can support each other's work. That's it. A quick call. We want to minimize the barrier to participation. Don't ask them out to coffee. Don't ask them out to lunch. Not yet. First of all, from my perspective, I don't do mornings. I don't talk to anybody that I'm not related to until 11 a.m. 100%. I don't even drink coffee. I'm not going to meet you for coffee. And I don't like to do lunch because my time is really limited with my kids' schedules and stuff. And also, I really can't have meaningful conversations in a restaurant. I just don't like to do it. People tend to want to take people to coffee or take people to lunch. That can often be a burden on the person you're asking. And they may not be ready for that. If they offer, they say, yeah, could we meet for coffee? Then you can assess if you want to do that, but don't make that conditional on the first meeting. A quick call or a Zoom chat. 20-minute call, Zoom chat. That's usually a nice time frame because people usually book in 30-minute blocks. So you have a little time on the back end if the conversation starts going really well. If not, 20 minutes of pleasantry and you're out. Have this connection conversation. All we're doing is assessing if they would be a good fit for this event. So let's say in this conversation, the business owner of the roofing company and your housing charity hit it off. And the roofing company owner, my friend Samira, I'm thinking of her. She owns a roofing company in Miami area. The roofing company says, "Oh my God, I've been wanting to get more involved in the nonprofit community. I think this is great. I would love to, this is something we've been looking for." And you're like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So you hear this opening, you hear where something that Tamara wants is what you have. Woo hoo. Now you have a connection. Now we want to move the conversation into what that actually looks like. So now, and you can do this, this is really up to you. If you have time and space in that initial conversation, you can say, all right, hey, let's talk about it. Do you have time to talk about it now? If not, schedule something in that moment, right? Let's say you book a 20-minute call. There's a lot of potential. Okay, let's schedule another call for next week. We'll put 45 minutes on the calendar, but I want you to do it in that moment. Don't say I'll email you some dates. Don't do that. Don't do that. In the moment, just pick a follow-up call. If you don't have enough time to really go into it in the initial call, because you want to honor the what you asked them for, right? It was 20 or 30 minutes. So let's say Tamara's getting all excited and like she wants to continue the conversation, whether it's in that moment or you schedule another time. you're going to get together with her. Now the conversation shifts away from a connection conversation to a solicitation conversation where now you're listening to her needs. What is she looking for? How much, what's kind of budget? What, and I'm not pitching her any of this, any of the dollar amount. I'm just listening. What kind of, but what, how involved does she want to get? What would getting involved with this event look like to her, not to you? You're not defining the conditions. Listen to what she has to say. Listen to what those donors, those sponsors has to say, because they're going to tell you. If you listen, please, they will tell you what their needs are. They'll tell you what they're looking for. And then Tamara says, "Oh my gosh, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it big. And I would do da da, and I would love to, like, have people there if I could. um like, I would love to meet a bunch of people. Maybe we could do a sponsorship where I had a VIP reception." Okay, right? And so then once you hear what her needs are, you're say, "Okay, you know what? I hear what you're saying. I have something that I think might be perfect for you based on you want to get involved, you want to meet a lot of people, you really want to, use this as a huge networking opportunity for you in the construction field. Here's what I think I'd love to offer you." And then you're going to make her an offer based on their needs, not your sheet. And I'm sounding a little harsh when I say this, but I'm telling you, sending out these sponsorship packets is not working. Connect with people, learn about their business, assess their needs, and then make them an offer based on that. Yes, it can come from that packet, but it's also based on their needs. If somebody would come to me and have this conversation, they would get a lot farther, because here's the thing. I like speaking engagements, right? That floats my boat. I love them. That's what drives business. So I would say, well, what kind of sponsorship? Like, I need stages, you need sponsors. How could we work this together? What could this look like? How could we make this work for each other? Um, and from that place of possibility, come up with something, right? And so you could pitch me an idea that knows that's going to meet my need for being in front of people, for sharing my message with people. Having my logo put places, that doesn't really do it, but getting in front of people, absolutely, that does it. Giving them some quality content, allowing me to connect with them, to share some wisdom. It makes me feel good. It makes them feel good. They learn something. They remember me. I can make follow-up calls from there. That's what works for me. But no one was offering me that. So I'm like, I don't really need my logo a bunch of places. And the fact that we think people want their logo a bunch of places means we haven't really looked at those sponsors. Like, what do you need for your business to be successful? Is it social media? Like, I don't know. But I can't know until I listen. Bottom line is, my friend, my love, my darling, you cannot meet someone's needs until you know what those needs are. And so have the conversations to understand the needs, and then make an offer, not a pitch, an offer, because an offer is based on something that that would fulfill a need that they have, not a guess. Does it take a little more time to do it this way? Maybe, maybe not, because that other way you're taking a lot of time following up with a lot of people who are going to say no, don't, who are just kind of blowing you off, or don't want to say no, or are going to say no. Right? Now, in this connection conversation, if there's no true alignment, if you can't really figure out if this is a fit or not, you can say, "It was so great to meet you." You don't have to, like, take back an offer. You just say, "Oh my gosh, it was so great to meet you." It's, and I understand how you work and you understand how I work. And now we can be referral partners in the future. No matter what happens, you've made a friend and an ally. And because you didn't try to pitch, sell, convince somebody, make them do something, they're going to be like, "Hey, that person's really cool. She saw me for who I am." Right? So, and that's what people want. They want to feel seen and heard. So have that person feel seen and heard, understand. And even if it's not your event, you could say, "Oh my gosh, I know you should talk to this person." Refer them on. There's enough out there for all of us. Give them value, even if it's not your event, if it's not your thing, give them value, help them along the way, refer them to someone, you know, whatever they need, help them along the way, and then they're going to remember you and be helpful to you. They're going to refer people to you. They're going to say, you know what, I talked to this person, it wasn't for me, but it sounds like it could really be for you, let me give you her email. And that, that is how we create connections. Pitching, selling, pushing, it doesn't do it. And that's why people aren't responding. They're not responding because they know you don't understand their needs. So start having connection conversations. Keep your little sheets to you. That's a guide for you, not for them. That's a guide for you to say, okay, here's all the things I have to offer. Is, based on their needs, is something I have able to meet their need? And if it is, talk to them about it. If it's not, that's okay. Find the next person. That was pretty fast. I hope you got that. Sometimes you might not get a decision in the moment. Again, always remember, we don't do let me think about it and get back to you, or send me some papers and send me something over and I'll talk and I'll think about it. If you're going to send them something, or if they're going to think about it in that moment that they ask for that permission to think about it, you say, absolutely, I would love for you to consider this. Why don't we get together, set something on the calendar right now, and I can check in with you and see where you're at in your decision making process. When you do this whole game of let me think about it and get back to you, send something over and I'll take a look at it, that's a game. And you don't want to get involved in playing that game because that's a time and energy waster. If they're interested and they're truly interested, set a meeting at that time. If they're not, let them go. Say, it was so great to meet you. Can I keep you on our mailing list? Blah, blah, blah. Or do you know anyone else that you think might be a good fit for this if it's not a fit for you? Maybe get some names from them. That's it. Bless and release. Move on. Your job is to get to know as fast as possible, because what's clogging your days up is this whole trying to land the planes that you can't land because people aren't getting back to you. So we're going to stop that approach. Have connection conversations. If they're aligned, keep the conversation moving. If not, bless and release. Put them on your email list. Maybe get some referrals from them, and then move on. All right. That's how you do it. This is going to change everything, y'all. Change everything. And listen, if you want some training or help in this, I get it. This is a very different way to do things. I have this course called Uplevel Your Influence. I coach and train people all over the country in exactly how to do just this, exactly how to connect in a new, meaningful way that is going to be empowering to you. You're going to get so much more done. It's going to be so freeing, so exciting. Your days are going to be so much easier. Like, I promise 100%. If you're interested in talking to me about that, I am recruiting for my October course. I'm happy to talk to you about it. I am happy to give you 20-minute quick call to go into anything more I have here to share with you, or a quick call and if you're interested, talk to you more about what this course would look like and how it might meet your needs. I'm not going to pitch you. I'm not going to sell you. I'm not going to try to close you, because I don't do that either. If it's aligned and it's meant to be, we'll know it. If not, that's okay too. I'm happy to just help you in the moment and help you have a better approach to your work. And that's all I want for you, because I want you to be more successful and raise those monies and feel great about your mission and feel good and feel loved and supported from your community, because you are. And sometimes we forget that because the way we're connecting with people isn't working. So we think no one cares, but people do care. We just have to adjust our connection so that we can really connect to the caring that is out there. And pitching is not doing it. So promise me right now, I will no longer send out sponsorship packets to people. You don't need to. You don't need to. Not in the beginning. Maybe at one time at the end, you may be like, yes, let's get it in writing, right? Not at the beginning. Talk with them first, assess their needs, see if it's a fit, make them an offer that comes from your heart, that's aligned to their needs, that is genuine and authentic, and see what happens then, because it's going to be magic. I 100% know it. All right. Let me know, Maryanne at maryannedersch.com, any questions, and let me know how it works for you. I'm always excited to hear. And if you want to book a time with me, you are welcome to at connectwithmaryanne.com. You can book 30 minutes on my calendar. I don't mention that very often, but I'm giving it to you today because I really want you to help you shape this new approach. And I'll see you next week on the Influential Nonprofit.